What's going on, guys? Welcome back to The Country Investor. My name is Robert, if this is your first time tuning in. So what we're going to talk about today is how will this inflationary period affect you. I'm currently in Texas, and if you live in Texas or anywhere in the United States, or if you keep up with the United States, you know that we're experiencing a high inflationary period, the highest inflation we've seen in a very, very, very long time. Specifically in my generation, I've never seen anything like this. So possibly older generations might know something about this, but my generation, this is our first time going through this. So yeah, we're gonna talk about how it's gonna affect you, how it could affect you. Before I go, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. Drop your comments down below. Has inflation affected you in any way? And what are you doing to kind of help combat the high inflation or the high cost of things or goods? Be sure to drop it down below to maybe inform somebody else or give somebody else ideas of how they can help better themselves through this inflationary period. So yeah, guys, so how inflation will affect you basically is, if you don't know, most products, most goods are usually 99% of the time, they are shipped using diesel, and diesel is very high, very expensive at the moment. So if diesel is expensive, it's costing truckers a lot more money to fill up their gas tanks. So if it's costing them a lot more money just to fill up their gas tanks, those costs are going to be put onto the product and the merchandise that they're hauling, thus affecting consumers, people like me and you, the end consumer purchasing our cereal or milk or whatever. So food, any type of clothing or goods will more than likely be going up. Also, aside from that, we know that's going to be going up for sure just because of the cost of fuel. The housing market, if you were looking to buy a home, what the government is basically trying to do is basically try to slow down inflation. The way they do this is by increasing rates. They increase rates basically if you're looking to take out a mortgage, you're looking to purchase a home. Home prices are already elevated as it is at the moment. But what they're going to do is they're going to increase their interest rates. So typically for most of my properties, they're usually between 2-3% interest rates. That was a little over a year ago. But now if I went and tried to do that same loan again, I'm looking at about 6%, maybe 7% interest rates. You may be a little higher, maybe a little lower. Got an ant on me. But that's how they try to slow down inflation, is by increasing rates, which will discourage people from purchasing a home, because obviously now it's more expensive to purchase a home because of the interest rate. You wouldn't think a point or two makes a big difference, but it does, especially when you have a big loan like a $250,000, $300,000 loan. It makes a big impact on that loan. So that's one way it may affect you. Obviously, I'm a millennial myself. Most millennials are looking for their first home. This may put a damper on that. Another way this might affect you is if you own a business. If you own a business or any type of small business, usually it's going to affect the small businesses more than it would affect the larger businesses. And I'll get into a reasoning why. But so obviously costs are more for your small business to get whatever goods or products. So now you're going to have to pass those rates on to your consumer. In my case, I own a lot of real estate. What I do is Airbnbs. Well, now people are going to be traveling less because gas prices or fuel prices, flight tickets, whatever it is. People are going to be traveling a little less than they would before this inflationary period because it's unaffordable. So I can already start seeing our bookings decreasing slightly. We're still getting bookings, surprisingly, but it's only because we have unique stays. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll leave a link down below for what Airbnbs I do have. They're pretty cool, pretty unique. That's the only thing that's honestly keeping us alive, to be honest with you, is that it's so different. But back to the topic. Yeah, people are going to be traveling less because they're going to be focusing their money on essentials, keeping a roof over their head, keeping the lights on, keeping the water running. They're not going to be focusing on traveling right now. So if you own Airbnbs like me, you may see a decline in your bookings. If you own a business, you may see less foot traffic if it's non-essential foods or non-essential products, clothing, purses, handbags. So the reason why these smaller mom and pop shops might be suffering more than these big box stores like Walmart's and Kmart's, Target's, things like that, is because they can purchase in bulk. They can purchase in large quantities, which will reduce their price from the supplier. A small mom and pop shop cannot purchase large quantities to reduce their cost. So it's obviously going to be more expensive for them to purchase it, which then gets passed on down to the consumer, versus a Walmart purchasing in large bulk orders, and they can kind of break that price against a lot of supply and pass that price down to the consumer, beating out the mom and pop who has to be a little more expensive. Another way it may affect either businesses or your business is layoffs. Obviously, things are going to be more expensive. You have people demanding higher wages. Smaller businesses aren't going to be able to keep up with this, especially if they have employees to pay, and they have company A offering them $5 more than what you're paying them. Chances are they're going to more likely move on unless you are just a great boss and a great company. But other than that, they're going to take the money, thus leaving mom and pop shops without employees. Or if the big box companies have small margins, they aren't going to be able to afford to keep all their employees, having to pay for the increased cost in goods and supplies to keep their shelves full. So job loss is possibly a consequence. All right, guys, so now we're going to get into I guess some of the non-direct economical relationships that the inflationary period could have, and that is increase in crime. Specifically in where I live in my area, I have noticed more crime, targeting mainly break-ins to homes or just little robberies. Maybe it's people just trying to feed their families. I don't know. Still, it's no excuse to go out and do a crime. But how that's going to affect the economy or your ability to purchase things is when a criminal goes in and steals something. Okay, well, they're stealing it directly from the company. That's true. But now that company or that business, if it's a reoccurring circumstance, they're going to have to account for that loss. They're going to have to account for losing, product A all the time because they have a thief. They have somebody stealing candy bars. I don't know. Whatever it is. Say they're stealing candy bars. Say they're losing 10 candy bars a week. Well, now the company's going to have to account for those 10 missing candy bars that are reoccurring every week. What's going to happen with that is now they're going to increase the price on their other candy bars that are actually being sold, which will be consumers purchasing them like me and you. So now we're going to have to pay a higher cost because the inflation led people to steal things because they don't have money to buy it. But now because they stole it, now the company has to account for that added cost. So now it gets passed on to the consumers who are purchasing it, which is me and you. So now we're going to have to pay more because of the inflation and because of increase in theft. So that's an indirect way that it could affect us. All right, so another, relationship I found with inflation is stress or health issues. What do I mean by that? How can inflation affect stress or health issues? Well, we all have bills to pay, and we all know that income is not keeping up with the inflation. Our bills are rising at a lot faster rate than our incomes are. Thus, people are going underwater, either not being able to pay their bills or having to choose which bills to pay, or not being able to pay them at all. So that alone puts stress on an individual. Now they're having to always be consistently thinking, how am I going to get the money? How am I going to pay the bill next week? How am I going to pay this? How am I going to pay that? That creates a lot of stress. That creates, mental stress, which will lead to health and wellness issues. And I'm getting bit by ants right now. So maybe we could see a rise in, after this inflation, people going to the hospitals, doctors, That's kind of something I just kind of thought about right now as I was sitting here making this video, that it's causing a lot of stress on people, and I could see it causing some medical or health issues into the future. But yeah, guys, let's try to stay positive on the situation if we can find any positive, right? But yeah, guys, it's affecting everyone, so don't feel like you're the only one in that situation. Everyone's feeling it, including myself. So let's just try to stay positive, try to make the most of it. There's a little bunny underneath the deck right there that I keep watching. But anyways, yeah, guys, we just got to keep moving forward, try to better ourselves during this time, try to find ways to increase our incomes. But until then, guys, appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully I provided a way that you maybe hadn't thought about that it could affect you. If I did, give this video a like. Definitely subscribe for more content. And until next time, guys, be careful, be good, take care, and God bless. Stay safe.